This is 6-time IFBB Bikini Pro Champion Brina Martinez, and I take ZMA5 to make sure that I get the zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6 needed to keep my immune system healthy and snack strong.
This is something that comes along every now and then in generation, and it's special.
Speak to the minds behind the fighters. Joseph, I'm going to start with you. Welcome, welcome. I'll start with you. We're going to go to the champion side first, Joe. Massive fight, massive opportunity. These are the nights that since Callum Smith won the WBSS, he's wanted for a long, long time. Strange circumstances for everyone, but he looks in tremendous shape and ready to take this opportunity.
Yeah, it's a fight Callum has always wanted since he became world champion in Jeddah. It's a huge opportunity. You just got to look at the silverware around us. Canelo, ring champion. Callum Smith, ring champion. I think there's only been 16 fights in the history that two ring fighters have fought each other, and Callum Smith becomes the third British fighter behind Ricky Hatton and Joe Kawasaki. So that tells you the magnitude of the event, the fight. It's the biggest fight of the year. You've got two athletes in the peak, Canelo age 30, Callum Smith age 30, and you can see the intensity of Eddie training with Canelo. That's a huge backhanded compliment. They know they're in a really tough fight and they need the best Canelo to show up to be the best Callum Smith, and that's what makes it going to make it a bigger challenge for us. I said before, people say about Callum Smith's performance of John Ryder, but when Callum Smith, when it comes to the big fights, he turns up. Unfortunately, Canelo always turns up, so I think it's about time Canelo has a bad night at the office. Yeah, 100% Canelo's pound for pound #1. You've just got to look at his resume, the fighters he's fought, the challenges he's come, and like I say, he's a superstar of boxing. As far as the game plan, Liam Smith, Canelo, it was a totally different fight to what Callum Smith, Canelo was. There's things that we learned that week, being in the corner, being involved with Canelo fight week, but this isn't a normal Canelo fight week. There isn't the huge fans. There isn't the Mexican band playing music. It's weird for all of us, and most probably for Canelo as well. He's used to having a huge fanfare of supporters and 50, 60,000 in arena. But
does that suit Callum? Is that good news for us?
Well, I don't know. I think the 12, 14,000 that'll be in there will make it sound like there's 60,000 in there. But for Callum Smith, it's very much like Jeddah. We went over there with a polite crowd there. There wasn't your raucous, vocal fans there where we usually get in the UK or in America. So it's, no, I think Callum's Callum, and the same with Canelo. I think they're both athletes, they're both professional, and they both know that when the bell rings, nothing matters. It's just them two in the ring, and I think that's the same for Callum.
I feel that Callum Smith needs to win this fight by knockout. You know, you feel that obviously being over here, you know, in San Antonio, big support for Canelo Alvarez. Is that the game plan? You go into this fight trying to end the fight inside the distance?
I wouldn't say inside this. It was a thing of we've been over American before. We've obviously, like I say, Liam's fought Canelo, Callum Johnson's fought BTBF, Stephen Smith's fought Pedraza, and we know where back at home in the UK, the officials most probably help the fighters a little bit and protect them. Once that bell goes, it's a dog-eat-dog fight. You're seeing Callum Johnson getting hit on the back of the head against BTBF. Pedraza's, Stephen Smith's performance against Pedraza not reflected on the scorecards. So for me to sit at home and devise a game plan to win on points, you might as well take me off to the asylum now. That's not the case. We've got to go in there and be primed, loaded. And the same with Canelo. Canelo's an explosive puncher. From a standing position, his power in both hands. And like you said, this fight can be ended by either or, but the game plan is to win every round, and then that if we've won it well enough, the judges are fair, they do the job, and whilst I'm here, I think this has got to be the beginning of a great rivalry that could end up being a trilogy in this type of, between these two fighters.
Eddy, buenas tardes, bienvenido. Primero, sé que está emocionado por el reto, el gran reto. Cuando tuvimos conversaciones, esa era su emoción más grande, este reto para Canelo. ¿Qué siente sobre eso?
Sí, pues estamos muy emocionados, queremos nosotros seguir haciendo historia, querer enfrentar a los mejores boxeadores.
Yes, we're very excited. We want to continue making history. We want to continue fighting the best opponents.
Sin duda alguna, Callum es uno de los mejores 168 de libras, 68 libras, ha ganado pues varios campeonatos, es un peleador muy muy peligroso, con mucho talento, pero pues son las peleas que queremos y estamos realmente emocionados de estar aquí con toda esta gente, volver a reaparecer en el boxeo después de más de un año. Creo que es muy importante para el boxeo y más que nada que regrese el mejor boxeador del mundo.
And there's no doubt here that Callum Smith is the best at the 168 pounds, and we want to fight the best. We are ready to fight the best. We're very excited to be here, very excited to see everybody. It's been a year, and we're very excited to be back and show, that we're the best in the world.
Joe mentioned that the aim is to win this fight inside the distance by knockout. Do you expect an explosive fight, and do you believe that your man can win this fight inside the distance as well, and is that the game plan?
Joe expresó que él siente que con la distancia va a poder lograr un knockout. ¿Ustedes piensan que con lo explosivo que es Saúl, que él va a poder lograr un knockout a pesar de la distancia que Callum está tratando, que le va a poner?
Pues va a ser una pelea explosiva. Los dos son dos boxeadores que suelen terminar sus peleas de manera explosiva. Vamos a ver quién logra conectar. Vamos a ver quién logra demostrar arriba en el ring quién es el mejor. Entonces va a ser una pelea, como dijo yo, va a ser una pelea explosiva y esperemos que le guste a toda la gente. Pero lo que sí estoy seguro es que vamos a salir con la mano en alto.
It will be an explosive fight. Both fighters are explosive. So we'll see who connects the best and, try to connect. And as Joe mentioned, they are both explosive. They like to end their fights with an explosion. And what I can say is that we will come off the ring, with our hands up high.
Huge moment for British boxing if Callum Smith could win this fight and become pound for pound #1 on Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely. I do feel it's for the people that don't know boxing, it'd be huge. But the people that do but know boxing, I can't understand why the odds are so wide. Canelo, at age 30, is now fighting someone his own age, age 30, and I think this is the first time in his career he's fought someone his own age. They've always been a bit older. Callum Smith is the world champion. We are expected to be the underdog. Canelo Alvarez is a superstar. He's the pound-for-pound #1, and he's not a bigger underdog as what people are making out. So it'll be huge, and it'll be a great success story for everyone back home in England and in Liverpool. Put a smile on everyone's face in the lockdown. But to us, close to Callum, we've always been confident that I've got the right kid here to do the job.
¿Qué es con Canelo? ¿Qué es las metas? ¿Qué es lo que ven ustedes sucediendo en cuestión del boxeo?
Pues seguir avanzando, seguir creciendo. Creo que Saúl todavía tiene mucho que dar al boxeo. Es joven todavía, está en la mejor etapa de su carrera. Lo más importante que es un deportista al 100%, es un deportista comprometido con su trabajo. Él tiene todavía mucho que dar al boxeo. Estamos motivados como nunca hemos estado, más motivados, mejor dicho. Entonces vienen cosas muy grandes. El sábado vamos a dar otro paso adelante a lo que queremos seguir haciendo y pues más que nada seguir adelante.
Let's continue moving forward. Continue moving forward. Saúl is still a young fighter, still a lot to do in boxing and bring to boxing. So, he has a lot to give. We want to continue making history. And this Saturday is going to be huge. And mostly it's continue moving forward. That's the most important thing for us.
From the moment that we were negotiating the fight, from even this week in the hotel, super relaxed. Is that because you're in a great frame of mind? You're ready. This is your moment.
Yeah, it's just I'm a relaxed person anyway. I'm quite laid back, but I'm in the position I've always wanted to be ever since I was a little boy, and especially since turning professional. The goal was to always reach the very top, be involved in the biggest fights possible on the biggest stage for the biggest prizes. And I'm here now, so I've got to just enjoy it. There's no bigger fight possible for me. I finally got the fight I wanted, and I'm in a very good place mentally and physically. I feel really good, and I'm ready to perform. And I'm just excited. I can't get worked up or nervous or anything unless I'm in a position I've always wanted to be in.
I don't think you've barely lost a round as a professional fighter. Obviously undefeated, but obviously the fight against John Ryder was the fight. You did lose some rounds in that fight, but before that, against George Groves, against Hassan and Dam, for the European Championship, against Rabras, against Rocky Fielding, a pretty straightforward career so far to this point.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's what. I always want to be a world champion, and imagined there'd be a few rocky moments on the way, and I become a world champion and still didn't really know how good I was, and I don't think people knew how good I was. I kind of done it all my own way. I never really had a tough test along the way, and it was more, let's say, credit to myself. I made a lot of tough fights on paper easy, but I sat down and said, well, what more do I want? I've won my world title. Now I want the biggest fights possible. I want to test myself against the biggest names in the sport and Canelo certainly is that. He's proven he's done it, multiple weights. He's a superstar. He's the pound for pound best. But I believe I'm good enough to compete at that level also. I've proved I'm a world-class fighter. Now I want to prove I can compete at the elite level.
Very different to this fight as well, don't you? You bring the power, you bring the youth, the experience as well. But difference obviously got to make this size difference play in this fight. But you know, you look at it as an advantage, but no, you have to make it count.
Yeah, I believe so, but I'm not just a big lump with limited ability. I believe I've got skills to go with it. I don't think I believe in being in a position that I'm in now if I didn't have no skills and ability. And tactically, I believe we've got it spot on. And I've just got to perform and do exactly what I know I can. And I've watched Canelo over the years, and as a fan, I enjoy watching him. But I've always watched him believing if that was me in there, I believe I can beat him. I've always felt stylistically I've got the style to do it, and I've got a chance to prove it. A lot of people don't really give me a chance in this fight, but I've been here before. I was the underdog in my world title fight, and if anything, it gives me a little bit more motivation, a little bit of a point to prove my worth. And I believe I deserve to be in this fight. I'm number one in the world. I worked very hard to be in the position I'm at, and now I'm enjoying the luxury of being world champion and being involved in these big fights, which, like I said before, I've dreamed of being in since I was a little boy.
Ya estamos acostumbrados a los grandes retos. Gracias a Dios tenemos esta pelea en el 2020 que ha sido difícil para todos. Vamos a cerrar con broche de oro con un gran campeón y pues estoy contento, no motivado como siempre.
Yes, we are here and we're always ready for great challenges. Thank God we've been able to make this fight in 2020, and we're ready to close out the year with a big bang and close it out, as a champ.
When I was talking to Eddie Reynoso, one thing that struck me about you and Eddie is you want the challenges. You want to fight the best, and if you look at your resume in 2020, last year, you boxed Daniel Jacobs for the World Middleweight Championship. You moved up 2 divisions to fight Sergey Kovalev for the Light Heavyweight Championship. Now in your next fight, you fight the number 1 at 168 pounds. Is this what boxing is all about for you, to the big challenges and fight the best?
Sí, para mí todo lo que me genere, obviamente un riesgo es lo que me gusta. Este es un gran riesgo para mí, para mi carrera, pero también es seguir haciendo historia, ¿no? Callum Smith es el número 1 en las 168 libras. Queremos hacer campaña en este peso. Y pues, ¿qué más peleando con el número 1 en esa división, ¿no? Entonces me gustan los retos y estoy listo para seguir haciéndolo y tomar las grandes peleas.
Yes, I like risk. I like taking risk. Taking this fight is a risk. I'm fighting the number 1 at the 168 pounds, so these are challenges for me, and I continue to bring challenges forward, and I like the risk of it. I like challenges to continue making history.
Duda, ¿no? Ya sabíamos que es un peleador muy alto, pero aparte pues tiene muchas cualidades boxísticas también, que eso lo hace aún más completo. Pero pues con mi experiencia en mi nivel, en mi nivel tengo que adaptarme a cualquier situación y tengo la experiencia y las habilidades para poder sobrellevar esto y sé lo que tengo enfrente, pero estamos listos para esto.
Yes, we do know that he's tall. We also know that he has great boxing qualities, so that makes him dangerous. But with my experience and the level of my boxing, we're ready for this and to continue making history and taking risks like this. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah, I know, obviously. I've got to disagree. I believe it's never go when I dominate. I win rounds well. I believe I get a fair share at the judges, but every fight I always go in and stick to the tactics, and I always find if I do land, I've got the power to hurt anyone in the world, and I believe I'm a good finisher. Over the years, I've always got rid of people when I hurt them, so the tactics are always the same for me. I'll never go in, guns blazing, swinging, looking for a knockout, but it's always there in the back of my mind. I'm always ready. I'm quite spiteful when I get someone hurt, and this is exactly the same. I've got to treat Canelo Alvarez like any other fighter. Go in there. I'm a world champion. I believe in my own ability, and I believe I can beat anyone.
No, siempre salgo a dar lo mejor de mí, y pues hablar ahorita aquí pues no tiene caso, ¿no? Siempre cuando suena la campana es cuando se ve la realidad, y la verdad es que yo siempre salgo a hacer lo mejor y a ganar por cualquier vía. Si se me presenta el knockout lo voy a aprovechar, y si no, tengo la experiencia necesaria para poder ganar con los 12 asaltos, ¿no? Pero obviamente siempre ganar por knockout es espectacular, y pues obviamente siempre está ahí a la puerta.
Yes, that's what we're here for. This is going to be an explosive fight, a good fight, a very good fight. And if the knockout opportunity arises, then yes, I will take that, because the fans always like to see a fight end in a knockout. So if the opportunity arises, I will take it.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.